I'm just watching my GoPro there. If you can avoid a golden shower, that'd be great. I'm just getting some stuff together because Esther and I are going out scanning, or a May scan, just to break up the drying off. It's been a bit miserable, but we'll get warm doing some scanning, and we'll be undercover as well. I think it's stopped raining though. So,
right,
cool, let's go, let's bounce.
Let's go.
Have you got your battery, yeah?
Yeah. No.
No. Sweet. There you go, you can hold that.
Oh, very good. Is it running?
Yeah, it's running.
Oh, scary.
You could, it's not scary.
I have a terrible angle of me.
Esther, what are we doing now? What are we going?
Oh, we're going scanning. For
Okay.
Our May scan.
And in your own, you can get seatbelt on, there you go. Safety first. I couldn't get over how expensive, well, yeah, how expensive wintering is, which makes sense, like I get it. Like it costs money to grow fodder beet or Swedes or kale or whatever, but it isn't cheap, is it? It's like, I think someone told me 40 plus bucks per cow per week, so that works out at being about, like, for English money or British money, that's like over 20 quid a cow a week.
Yeah.
So if they're wintering them for 60 days, say, as a minimum.
Yeah, and then those cows also are getting transitioned when they come back.
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot of effort and management to then just not calve, despite being watched, and all that goes into that as well.
All that sort
and
of jazz.
Transporting them, lots of them. So like this farm's getting transported quite a way to go away for wintering, and then they'll come back again. So it's also those fees with transport.
All of that.
And yeah.
People say we're quite expensive friends to have, vets, right? But today, of all the things we do over the years, probably one of the best paybacks, I would guess. If we find one, we've paid for us, paid for the visit, haven't we? So if we find two, then Ali can pop out the champagne. But yeah, we'll get there. The weather's definitely turned, hasn't it? It's pretty wet and miserable, but we'll be undercover, and Ali has a very warm personality, so that'll make up for the weather.
Some of you will have seen me scanning at another shed here in New Zealand earlier in the season. That was quite a different type of scan though, because we were doing it while the fetuses were a lot younger. Because they are younger, they're a lot smaller, and because they're a lot smaller, we can get more precise information about when exactly that cow will be due to calve, if she's having twins, does she hold to AI or not, and so on. This gives us and the farmers heaps of information about how their repro season is going. Today, it's different. This is later in the season, and it is a yes-no scan. Ali, the farmer, just needs to know if they are pregnant or not before he sends these cows to wintering, which is about an hour and a half up the road. A small percentage of the herd will lose a pregnancy, so in bigger herds, like those typical in New Zealand, can typically pick out at least a handful. Plus, we can recheck any cow that was unclear on a previous scan.
So we've got Esther here as well today. Well, you've seen her in the car, but you might remember Esther from taking their eye out, if you haven't seen that vlog. It's one of the more gory ones we've done, isn't it? But everyone was very impressed with your surgery skills. We'll just go and try and find Ali. Nearly. Oh, now this GoPro's going to get filthy. Yeah. How you doing? Cool. How are you?
Good, thanks yourself.
You're good. Ali, how many cows are you scanning today?
Maybe 120?
120? 115, yeah. So we're sort of talking about why. Tell you what, I'll grab that. Do that. We're sort of talking about why you've got more cows than that on the farm, haven't you?
Yes.
But we decided not to scan a big group of the cows because we've already dried them off recently. Yep. And that's where we'll have to do a vlog on that, but it's where you use intramammaries to help stop the milking, don't you? The problem is with cows, because they're so used to routine, that if you bring them into the parlour after they've had those products, sort of within 2 weeks, they can end up producing so much milk they squeeze all those products out and you have to redo them all over again. So these are just the herd that haven't been dried off yet, have they?
No, they haven't.
No, perfect. So about 120 of them. Esther's just coming with the lube, I think. But then we'll get these girls sorted and
Yeah.
Not long before their winter holidays.
It's true. They'll be going away in what next in a week and a bit.
Are they going far away?
Yeah, to Bex to their runoff. It's like hour and a half from here.
Oh yeah, and they're going to Fodderby?
Yes, for a bit.
Yeah, nice. Cheers. Bring the lube, bring the goods. I think we're going to do both sides, Esther, by the looks of things.
Fine.
I think we're going to do both sides by the looks of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
We've got a lot of sheep here, Esther, because she has been on the new grass.
Ah, yeah.
And usually they just go for it, you know.
Yeah, also it's the welcoming committee for us.
Esther was missing our sound and I said our speaker got wet and stuff. We didn't.
Because for this type of scanning, A, we're gathering less information, it's just a yes or a no, and B, by this stage the pregnancies are a lot bigger, scanning them is a relatively quick process. Most of these cows should have got a calf in November or December, so the fetuses will be about 5 to 6 months old. That means they will be about the size of a small dog. Plus, there is much more placenta and fluid to see. Compare that to some of these earlier scans when the fetuses will have been more like the size of a kidney bean. And you can really see why kiwi vets have to use the introducer. Rotator cuffs and other shoulder injuries are fairly common in large animal vets because those joints come under a lot of strain when scanning, but also for calving, for prolapses, and from recent personal experience, drying off cows. A little bit of graft is a good thing, but if you were to preg test this number of cows with your arm for weeks on end, you would end up doing yourself some serious damage. That's no good if you have colleagues to support and a partnership loan to pay. Since it's my first season using the introducer and I'm still getting a feel for it, there is the odd cow I check with my arm, but it is the odd one and not everyone. The trolley also comes in very handy for moving along the race, although there is a certain degree of monkeying around to get to where you need to be sometimes. And finally, cows are creatures of habit. Just like us, they tend to have a toileting schedule, which for them often coincides with milking. Hence the cues of being brought into the parlour seem to get those bowels moving, as you can see. Checking the cows with the probe also seems to move things along. There's no getting away from it. This is a dirty job.
They come that straight, otherwise
Yeah.
we'll just,
But I haven't seen any cows riding in the stuff. I haven't seen any slips or anything like
yeah, okay.
that. Yeah. Do you think they look good body-wise?
Yeah, they all look good, aren't they?
So I failed wildly to get you guys a screen to see what I can see, but actually here, this is where the probe and the trolley and doing it the kiwi way sort of comes into its own, because this is just yes/no scanning. We're not trying to get an age or a sex or looking for twins or anything. Here is sort of cruder, probably what more I'm used to because I'm a pretty crude guy. But it's just a yes/no, nice and quick, just popping in with a probe, looking for cotyledons, which are those little buttons you'd see on the placenta, fluid, and a flash of calf, and that's all good. And then obviously we're trying to spot any empty uteruses or anything like abnormalities we might get. It might suggest that she's slipping, she's aborting her calf, stress or something. Aren't we, Esther? Anything else?
Yeah, anything that has infections in it, sometimes you can see dead calves.
So yeah, anything weird, basically, anything suspect, anything sus.
120 cows between the two of us ends up taking no time at all. Some of the other vets could easily end up scanning 1,000 cows in a day, so this is quite a small batch by Kiwi standards. In fact, it almost takes as long to get ready and then to wash up as to do the actual scanning. What might have taken a morning back at home has only taken about an hour. Calls like this really get me thinking about how I might be able to put some of what I'm learning here into practice when I get back home to the UK. Now, whether it will work in our context, I'm not sure, but I'm determined to give it a punt. Now, you've watched this far, so you must be a real fan if you don't want to miss any more vlogs from this New Zealand adventure, or if you want to see me trying to put some of what I've learned here into practice in the UK in the near future. Click the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. Let me know what you thought in the comments as well.
Might be a shout, mightn't it? Tell you what, these GoPros are actually quite good for seeing if you've got on your face. There you go, bit of alcohol teat wipes, got to be good for your skin. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. I've got to get Esther back to the practice, get all that stuff in the wash, and see you for the next one.